From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team. Dominating with Dawson.
Ben Dawson, I need some. Vicky's here too. Ben Dawson.
Hello.
Great news. We're all here. Let's get into it.
All right. Mr. Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
We typically do endurance racing.
Yep.
And you've got some experience in sprint racing and maybe even some time trial. I've got this much, and my fingers are very close together for the home game players. Time trial experience. But I thought we'd talk about one aspect of racing that I don't think we've ever directly talked about. So I thought it might be fun. So, Mr. Dawson, I thought we would talk about, related to endurance racing, perhaps sprint racing and time trial. How do you take care of your tires?
Just don't flat spot them.
That's a very good way. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Do not do that. It's expensive and they drive like junk.
I mean, that's the only thing. The tires that we run typically. I mean, I don't know if there's different brands, but I mean, Falcons and the
Hankook.
Hey, yeah, sorry, I can't get to this second. Those are the ones I've run the most recently. But Dunlop and other tires are the same 200, 180 to 200 treadwear class that we usually have to run for this kind of type of racing. The main thing in my experience is just don't lock them up. Don't flat spot, because once you flat spot them, you got to move that one to move the worst flat spotted tire to the least loaded position and try to stay off of. You know what I mean? Like you flat spot one of your don't let me get into flat spot talk, but that's the big risk.
You need to get a little bit into flat spot talk because somebody might not know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So sorry, I guess I am assuming a level of jargon competency. So when you lock your brakes up. Which means you ask for more braking grip than the tire and the track can give you with your braking system. Suddenly the tire is just going to start sliding along the track and not rolling and slowing like you need it to do when your braking is working effectively. So you're just sliding the tire along the track, you're grading a bunch of the rubber off that one spot that's sliding on the track, and that creates a flat spot on your round tire. So future times when you need to brake with that, brake hard on that same tire that's now flat spotted, it's going to end up rotating down to that same flat spot and locking up more readily now that you have that flat spot. It's easier for the tire to rotate so you can find that spot on the track and start to slide again. Am I explaining that right, Bill?
Yep.
So once you flat spot the tire, it's likely that you're going to make the flat spot worse and worse and worse if it's still in that front, like one of your front tires is the most loaded tire or under braking. If you're on a right turn track, if the left front will be your most loaded one, that's the one you're most likely to lock up. So what you'd end up doing, once you've done that, and then you're going to have to do a pit stop where you have to move tires around and do it at the end of the day, but you'd move that from the left front to the right rear, because that right rear tire is doing the least amount of work under braking. And so if you've only brought 4 tires to the track, that's what you do to sort of survive the rest of the weekend. But I say all that to say that's what we're talking about. And I think that's the biggest risk to your tires. We've talked about, like, oh my God, so-and-so's out there driving too hard. They're not really taking care of the tire. And, if you're driving these tires well, you are kind of always catching a little bit of a slide, rotating and coming out. You are always kind of working the tire pretty hard, like, hearing them sharp, not scream. You want to hear them kind of derp, derp. You want to hear from your tires, but you don't want to be hearing them wail and scream all the time. But so, it's I don't think it's a likely scenario that anybody's out there driving at some sort of supernova level of virtuosity where, like, hey, guy, take it easy on our tires. There's not going to be enough tire left for the rest of the day. As long as you're not locking them up, there's plenty of tire. You know what I mean? Unless you started on a set of tires that was already halfway running. Like, hey, this is all we got for the weekend. We need to go out there and drive, settle out a set of time. I've never done that before. Have you guys ever done that?
No, I mean, for many races, we didn't even know what our lap times were until we figured out how to use Race Monitor. But
Right.
that's
This is
us.
true.
But I mean, taking care of tires, like, we're talking about a grippier tire like an RCOM tire or racing slick in NASCAR. For sure, those drivers have to decide, depending on the tire and the track surface, there's a lot of strategy that goes into managing your tires. Formula One people have to do it. IndyCar, I'm sure, super high level of teams have to manage how much tire they're using at what time. Do they want to take it easy early in the cycle of the heat cycle of the tire until the fuel gets burned off, and then really lay into it once the car is lighter with less fuel? I mean, there's plenty of considerations at the top level of when you want to really manage or really go hard on your tires. Whether you're on the soft compound or the hard compound. But endurance racing, we're all essentially on the same compound, and you pretty much have a set of tires that's going to last you a whole day or a whole weekend, pretty much without question. And you guys all want to go out and drive it as hard as you can without screwing the tire up.
Okay, Miss Vicki, anything?
Oh, I hate flat spotting.
Yeah. Me too.
Flat spotting, that, and
we only seem to flat spot brand new tires. We don't do it to anything.
Well, it's a newbie thing for sure. It's a newbie error. And
no, not necessarily. It's funny. We my teammate Reed had his E36 M3 out kind of in its early career on track, and we had this guy, not going to name his name, but he's somebody who we all knew he's racing with us, and he was at the track with his car that weekend. And just for a fresh set of eyes, we're like, hey, fellow, why don't you take the Reed's car out and kind of feel it out? This guy went out there, and this guy just raced, like I said, raced with us. Pretty accomplished driver. He's out there locking him up all over the place. Didn't even know he was doing it, and then came in like, oh, how you going? Like, he's like, he didn't realize he was locking the tires up all over the place. So I don't know. We all questioned why he was like, hey, throw the keys at this guy. Like, didn't give any good feedback, and he picked up a set of tires. So anyway, it's not necessarily just a newbie error. That's what I'm saying. Apparently anybody can go out there and do it, but it's the prospect of flat spotting is lessened if you have a car with ABS.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're driving a car that doesn't have ABS, like our Miata and our E30 didn't. We don't have those cars anymore, but they didn't. And I mean, we were all out there. We were all out there laying some rubber in the bad way, trying to find the limit of. We changed pad compound or something like that. Like, whoa, this thing's really grabby. I just locked up going into turn one. But also, I think the big rookie aspect of locking a tire up is not so much committing the lockup, because we all overstep on braking. I think if you're not every once in a while feeling the ABS hits you or locking up the tire a little bit, if you don't have ABS, you're probably not pushing hard enough in the brakes. So if you do eventually want to find the limit of your braking, but you don't want to dwell there. You know what I mean? If you start locking up the wheels, you want to be good enough to realize what's happening, start to modulate the brakes on your own as if you're an ABS system. You need to get off that pedal. You got to get off that pedal enough to stop blocking and figure out, while you're doing that, like, okay, well, I can't have all my brakes, so where am I going until I hit something? So you have to do a couple things. You got to be doing. You have to be pretty good and do a couple things at the same time. Like, I got to get up off this brake so I don't cook this tire, because tires are expensive. So your wallet is thinking for half of your brain, and then your don't hit anything. What am I doing now that I'm giving up some of this braking that I thought I had? Because you've been sliding the tire, and now you got to come off the brake. So you're not going to be decelerating as much as you need to in that zone. So you got to be also thinking about plan B. How am I going to make this into an ugly enough corner where I don't hit anything? You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. So the flat spotting is not, or the flat spotting or the overstepping, the braking is not necessarily the rookie move. The rookie move is just sit there and let it keep sliding and not figure out what's going on and kind of remedy it. So the reaction is where the pros get it back going, because we're all going to overstep the brakes. How quickly you get things back in line and get your grip restored is how shows how much experience you have and how much skill you have, I believe.
So I've got one aspect of this that I think we haven't talked about yet, that I was thinking about when I put this one together.
Hit me. I'm sure there are aspects I'm not talking about.
What about when it's like dead summer, like 90 plus, 100 plus, and we're out there and the track is hot, the tires are hot, and you start to feel that greasy tire feel that we all know
Yeah.
or know
Yeah.
soon. I always think that there's a limit, or if you drive like really hard for 5 or 10 laps, you can get the tires really hot, and sometimes you got to back it down because the greasy will go away. But what about
what brand? Do you think of a certain brand or just in general this happens?
mostly the Falcons seem to feel that way for me.
I've always only ever heard that about the Falcon too. So yeah, you're right. And I don't know how true it is. They've been through several iterations of their 200 treadwear compounds. So I think maybe one. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. In some cases, especially like several generations of that tire ago, they were bad. And they were known for like if you go out there and get hard on them, you start to kind of slip and slide a little bit. You can either learn to live with that and sort of adapt to the greasy, slidey Falcon feel, or you can kind of back your pace off a little bit and get some back, get some kind of a little bit better grip back. But yes, that's that's the reason I asked what brand, because that's the only brand I've ever heard of where you kind of specifically hear about if you run them hard, they get kind of slidey and greasy.
And I thought that when they were slidey, I thought that would be bad for the wear of the tire. Not that I have any data to support that. It's just kind of felt like it would be.
Probably not great, yeah.
No.
But then again, I mean, you kind of always thinking like probably not great for the wear of the tire over like, if I was trying to make this thing last 36 hours, but if I'm getting the slip and slide, and I know I've got, I saw what the tire looked like at the beginning of the day. So I know there's plenty of tire there, but it's just driving crappy. But I'm still just trying to get through the end of the weekend. You got to kind of weigh like, okay, let me try to back off a little bit and see what these laps look like while I'm backing off, and whether it's worth giving up that much pace, or you just want to keep pushing the tire because you just really needed that set of tires to last you through the weekend, and maybe hopefully you get a couple of DE days out of it or something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the tail off or the end of life for that tire, it's not like you're trying to preserve this tire and run it down to the cords in race condition necessarily. You know what I mean?
I do.
You kind of just want to end up with some good practice tires, and so I'm not really doing exact tire wear math in the car when it's starting to slip and slide. Like, I saw the tire when I got in. I know there's plenty of tire to finish the race, whether it's the way I like it or not. I may find out that even though it's a little slip and slidey, I'm only losing half a second. Whereas if I try to back it off 2 seconds and then run a good pace for a couple laps and back it off 2 seconds a lap again, it may not pay off. So maybe you just got to kind of do your own math and kind of evaluate how you think the tire is wearing up under you and decide what you want to do. It might be more comfortable. It might be more comfortable, depending on where you are in your phase of learning and training, where if you start getting a slidey car, it might just be like, well, I don't want to drive it like this. I don't feel comfortable driving a car that's slipping and sliding more than that. So I'm going to back off just to get some grip back under it. That's also okay.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not all out there enjoying the thrill ride as much as I do. I'm like, man, throw me in the washing machine. I don't care. Let's see what it's got. I'm usually pretty happy to just adapt to whatever I got as long as I know it's not hurting anything.
What about you, Miss Vicki? You think about tire maintenance, tire care?
Yeah, I do. When it comes to, certainly try not to flat spot, definitely maintenance, and, all the way to the end of when we just kind of use them to just kind of like run the track before we had to put a good set on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Tires are expensive, so you want to get the most out of them for sure. And even after that, they end up with an engine sitting on them. Yeah. We make use of them.
We use every part of the carcass.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
Sometimes they are the bumper between the truck and the stuck car.
Yes. Sometimes they are what's on them when they're wintered.
For sure.
That would have been such a smart idea. There was that time where I think the E30 was dead and I had to just push it up into my garage. And I was like, I'm just going to give it one bump, and I smashed all the taillights out. I should have just strapped the tire to the back bumper and then done that.
Mm-hmm.
So smart. Looking back, that would have been a really good idea.
Yeah. Well, reverse is usually the better judgment.
I do get bummed when tires are flat spotted. That hurts my heart.
It's like you see $100 bills like flip.
That's right.
Out
it's
the window,
like
little fairies.
Oh.
Look, there they go. Oh, look, there they go. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I think by far tires are the most expensive wear item that we go through.
Yes.
Yeah.
They truly are.
Mm-hmm.
I have never driven on slicks though. What is the sensation of that?
I mean, essentially, you're driving on slicks now. Like, there is not much difference between our comps and the stuff we drive. I mean, I've never. I mean, the only time I've driven on slicks was when I raced karts. You know, we
Right.
raced full slicks then, and I mean, you know, that was slicks on red clay. So I'm not sure how that relates. We weren't really slipping and sliding though. I mean, it felt like you were pretty hooked up all the time. I imagine the feeling of slicks on road courses feeling pretty hooked up. I don't know.
Unless it rains.
Yeah, right. Yeah, unless there's any water on the course. But yeah, I mean, it's my experience with our comp tires is that they give you you know, different ones, different brands are different ways, but you have a lot less time to think about, oops, I'm messing up. Like you get a lot less feedback, and then suddenly you're out of shape in a way you can't catch it. So you got to pay more attention to not getting crossed up with our comps, in my experience.
You'll see soon, sweetie.
I will.
You will.
Am I
All right.
gonna have slicks on my car?
If you're spec Miata, you're going towards it.
Oh.
Oh, are you gonna race Spec Miata? Yeah. Hey. Is that what that little Duracell battery is for?
That's right.
Hell yeah, that's a great looking car.
It's a cool looking car.
It looks great, yeah.
She's quite happy. Job well done, Miss Jen.
It's like a creamsicle.
The guys that were working on it called it the Nemo car.
The emo car?
Nemo, Finding Nemo.
Oh, Nemo car? It was cute.
Yeah.
The Nemo car.
That's a different Dominator Dawson. We'll get to that one later.
True. Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Captain's log supplemental.
So, Miss Vicki.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those Grid Life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier? Right. You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars. Maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
so what does the Sentinel system do?
We could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Race Hero and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.